Hi boys and girls. For handwriting this week, you are going to be working in this booklet, my little number book. And what you need to do is you're going to be working on this booklet probably 3 of the days that you are home. So if you are in cohort A, you will be working on this booklet on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. If you are in cohort B, you'll be working on this book on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So you will have to watch this whole video, and what you're going to do is stop the video at the point after you do 2 pages. So we're going to do the front cover. We're going to either do 2 or maybe 3 pages, and then you can stop the video and then save it. Save the next couple pages for the next day. And then do a couple more pages and then stop the video and then go back to that assignment again. And you can find on the video where it is the numbers that you left off on. So we're going to start here on the front cover. 1, you need your name. So at the bottom here, I want you to write your name. Then what I want you to do is color in your picture. That doesn't take too much to do, but color in your picture. Remember, we always want to take pride in our work, and we want to be proud of the work that we do. And part of that is coloring. So you want to practice coloring in the lines, slowing down when you get to the edge, the black line. So just take your time and make your picture look nice. Now remember, any point in the video, the great thing about a video is you can work at your own pace. That means if you work right along with Mrs. Gillespie, or if you need a little bit extra time, you can always press your video. You can always press the pause button to stop the video for a minute while you catch up and while maybe you finish coloring. Maybe you finish coloring the star before me. Maybe you're still working on the star. That's okay. But you can always press the pause button if you need time to catch up. So I want you to remember to color nicely, coloring in all the spots. So stopping for a minute and making sure our cover looks great and that we're ready to start. It didn't even take a little over a minute, not even. That's about it. And so right now we're ready to start my little number booklet, and we are going to be practicing writing our numbers that we have all learned, and we have the number words, and we have our 10 frame to show. So the first thing I want you to do is we're going to have our numbers over here like in the bubble way. So I want you to color in that bubble number, whatever color you would like. We're going to probably work on maybe 3 pages a day. And maybe one of the days you might do 4 pages. So we have 0. And now what we have to do is practice writing the number 0. You can see as a reminder, they showed you start at 2 o'clock. Now when we're writing your numbers, we're kind of using them almost like a capital letter. We're going to touch the top line and the bottom line. And I want you to try to write the number 5 times. So we're going to start here, 2 o'clock underneath the top line. I'm going to go up and touch the top, down to the bottom, and around. And I made that number 0 once, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times. Now I want to make sure 5 times, and I want you to make sure that you're fitting it in the space. Don't go above, don't go below. Concentrating. This is your handwriting time, so I really want you to do your best. And now we have the letters 0 that spell the word zero to trace. Now before you just go right on top of them and trace them, I want you to think, where do I put my pencil down first? I put it here for the Z, I go trace over, slant down, and trace back. The E, this is where I put my pencil down first. I go straight across, up to the dotted line, down and around. Remember my R, no letters start from the ground. I'm going to start at the dotted line. I'm going to trace down, up, and over. 2 o'clock for my O. So let's practice that again. You're going to trace the letters. Look at Mrs. Gillespie, how I'm tracing the letters in the video. Are you remembering to put your pencil down in the right place to start? Take a break after you trace the word and look up at mine again and see if this is where you are putting your pencil down to start. Make sure when you do your R, it's at the dotted line, down, up and over. 2 o'clock for your O. Make sure that you are practicing. And then down here, I have to make counters. But what's my number? 0, so I don't have to put any counters because 0 means nothing. All right, that's one page. I'm going to turn over now to this page. This is the number 1. So color in your number 1. Now to make the number 1, do you remember the poem? They give you a hint up here and they show the arrow going down. You don't start from the bottom and go up, you start from the top and come down. And if you remember our poem, we say straight line down, then we're done. That's the way to make a 1. Straight line down, then we're done. That's the way to make a 1. How many times did I ask you to make the number 0 on the other page? Do you remember? You're right, I asked you to do it 5 times. So I want you to make the number 1 5 times. I don't want you to fill up the line with a whole bunch of lines. I want you to make 5 of them. And the 5 that you make, I want you to make them the best way that you know how. And now here, we're going to start at 2 o'clock for my O. I'm going to start at the dotted line for my N and go down, up, and over. And I'm going to start in the middle of the line, trace it over, up to the dotted, down and around for the E. Watch me again before you write yours and think about where am I putting my pencil down in the right spot to begin? Am I doing it? O-N-E, that spells the number 1. Now, if we tried sounding that out, that wouldn't really make sense. But that is the number 1, and that's why this is one of those words that we just want to be able to remember. What does it look like? And then we can take our time right now and we can color your hand down here. Mrs. Gillespie has some nail polish on and I see nails, so maybe you, if you're a girl, you might put nail polish. If you're a boy, you might not. They already colored 1 dot in the 10 frame, so we are all set there. They showed the number 1 on a dice, so we are all set there. Here's a 1 counting cube, so you can color in the 1 counting cube. And this here is a coin that is worth 1 cent, and it is a penny. Penny, penny, easily spent, copper brown, and worth 1 cent. So my pennies are brown. So if you see money in coins, the brown one is a penny, and it is worth 1 cent. So this is showing you 5 different ways to show the number 1. Awesome. So now I'm going to turn the page. And what number am I going to do now? The number 2. So what I want to do now is I want to color the number 2. to color the number 2. And then if you look up here, how many times are we going to write the number 2? 5 times, that's right. And if you see, look at, there's a number 1 with an arrow showing this is the first thing you do. You come around and there's a number 2 saying, and then you go back. So you go around and back on the railroad track. Toot toot. So we're going to start up here underneath the top line. And we're going to go up and touch the top line, come around and back on the railroad track. Toot toot, toot toot. And we are going to make that number 2. We are going to make it 5 times. Around and back on the railroad track. Toot toot, toot toot. And I want you to go like that, writing the number 2, and you're practicing writing it 5 times, fitting it in that space. Now, when we come to write the word 2, one thing that I want you to remember is here, when this printed out, this didn't show the T being tall, touching the top line. When we make the lowercase t, it is a tall letter, so we need to start at the top line, and we need to come all the way down to the ground. So I'm going to start up here, then I'm going to trace it all the way down, and then I'm going to cross the little arms on the dotted line. My W, I start at the dotted, and I slant down, slant up, slant down, slant up, and 2 o'clock for my O. Again, a tall T. And then the W and the O fit underneath the dotted line. Now, if you remember, one of our sight words is the sight word 2, but it was spelled just T-O, not T-W-O. So when I see the T-W-O, I know it means this. I know it means the number 2. So here we go. They're showing 2 fingers now. I'm going to color in my fingers. They showed 2 dots in the 10 frame, 2 counters. There is 2 on the dice, and now there are 2 cubes. So we are going to color in 2 cubes. Now we don't have, I'll color the other one in orange. We don't have a coin that is worth 2 cents, but if I put 1 cent and 1 cent, if I put those both together, my 2 pennies, then I have 2 cents. Penny, penny, easily spent. Copper, brown, and worth 1 cent. That's why I colored them brown. I'm going to do one more page right now. What number is this? This is the number 3. So I want you to color in the number 3. Let's see. I'm going to go back. What colors did I use? I used red and purple and green. So maybe I'll use orange right now for my 3. I like to use different colors. So I'm going to color in my number 3. Just like that. And then when I do this, look at it, shows number 1. I'm going to go around this tree first and then around the other one. Do you remember the poem, Around a Tree, Around a Tree? That's the way to make a 3. And so I'm going to start here. It's almost like it's at the 10 o'clock. It's almost like starting the same spot, but instead of starting over here for the 2 o'clock, I'm starting here and going the other way. So I'm going to go around the tree into the dotted line. Then I'm going to come back up and go around the tree. That's the way to make a 3. We're pretending a tree is right in the middle there. We're going to go around a tree, around a tree. That's the way to make a 3. Make sure when you go around the first one and you come onto the dotted line, watch my pencil. I trace back on that line that I already ran, and then I run around again. So I have to trace back on that line, around a tree, around a tree. That's the way to make a 3. That's what we're doing. We're practicing 3. Now, just like the page before, when we're writing the word 3, that T needs to be a tall T, starting at the top with little arms on the dotted. My H is tall, down, up, and over. My R starts at the dotted line, down, up, and over, and leave them up in the air. My E starts in the middle, and I go straight across, up to the dotted, down and around. Straight across, up to the dotted, down and around. That's the number 3. There's threatening theropod, E, 3. So I'm going to trace that word again. T, H, R, E, E. There is my number 3 with fingers. Can you show 3 fingers? Can you hold your fingers like that? What they're doing is they're showing it. There's my thumb down and my pinky down, and they're showing 3 fingers up in the air like this. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. There's my 3 counters. There's my number 3 on a dice. And now I have 3 blocks to color in. And now I have 1, 2, 3 pennies. Again, my pennies are brown. So that's 1 cent, 2 cents, 3 cents. We use that word cents to talk about money. 1, 2, 3. Now, what I would like you to do, that's all the work that you have to do for today, is up to the number 3. I'm actually, instead of having you just continue the video, I'm going to make a new video for you. You're going to close your book, and we'll see you tomorrow for the next page.